Welcoming guys into my Green Bay Packers versus Lions preview for tomorrow. What you're gonna see is tomorrow morning. So today is so today it's gonna be Packers versus Lions. We're at Lambeau Field. And in UK it's 4:25 Eastern. Late Sunday afternoon. Football is back, baby. Again, it was back Thursday, and now so the whole thing with they had to suspend the game in Philadelphia because of the storm, and then they had the game in Brazil last night on Friday with the Chargers beating the Chiefs. Anyway, let's get into this game, which is the Packers versus Lions. It's a division game. Um, you know, uh, let's talk about really the off season things going into the season. So especially let's talk about light side of things. We definitely needed some defense cover that on defense. So again, we did invest heavily in the draft and free agency on edge rushers, cornerbacks, pass rushers and stuff like that. On the pass defense side of things, and then we got a couple of new starters like Isaiah Tesla and a couple of guys like that. And ultimately, I wasn't impressed with the whole draft. I've said it before with the Lions, but again, we've addressed issues. Obviously, the huge departure of Ben Johnson going to the Bears football to be their head coach, and then Aaron Glenn going to become the Jets head coach. Um, there's a lot of transition, and you bring in John Morton, who's going to be the new offensive coordinator, and Shipley, Calvin Shipley, who again was under Aaron Glenn, now he's the defensive coordinator. And then you look at the Packers. Packers are obviously they needed somebody on that cornerback. They needed an edge because again we all know Lucas Van Ness was never the guy. In the last week they just traded for Micah Parsons, who again a couple of Pro Bowls and stuff, but again bringing him in and people say, oh, he wasn't really that good in Dallas. Look at our defense. Yeah, to a point, but again, was that down to the defensive structure at Dallas? We'll have to wait and see. Also before they got Micah Parsons, there was linked with Trayvon Henderson. Yeah, there was linked with Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals. So again, I like what the both. I like what the Packers have done, especially this also with especially Micah Parsons coming in. So getting into really like the strengths of the Packers first. Ultimately, if you're for the Packers, the biggest strength for the Packers in this game, and to really look out for a Lions point of view, you've got to look at Josh Jacobs on that running game. I think he's going to be a dangerous weapon, especially for this defense side of the ball. Even though that we've beefed up that defense, and but again, we're still not a complete package as we we're still not that complete package yet because I know we have like a Brian Branch and Aidan O'Connell, but and O'Connell's back now. But how is he going to be after his big injury? Um, the games that we played in preseason. I know it's in preseason. You not know how you started, but we didn't look too impressive against the Falcons and Miami and stuff. I don't know, but especially if you're a Packers for the Packers, the biggest thing to get at this Lions team is get at the defense, get at that offensive line, keep going on getting at Jared Goff, because if he gets under pressure too much, Jared Goff just turns into his old self and he crumbles, he turns over. Look at the game plan offensively, what the Commanders had last year that beat us convincingly in the playoffs. If the Packers can do that today, instantly they're going to win the game, and you're probably looking at a 32-17 game, something like that. Also, big questions for this game is how is Micah Parsons going to fit in with his defense, with the defense. I think again he's better again as a defensive end. He's a big improvement on Lucas Van Ness, no question about that. Also, how is Matthew Golden going to be with his first? You're presuming he's going to start this game. So how is he going to do in his NFL debut? And then another big strength for big strength for this Packers team is Jordan Love. In his third year now as a starter. I know he's been there 5 years, but again, as a starter for 3 years now. Again, he had a really good year, and I think he's going to be the guy pulling the strings, especially on the offense side of the ball. With Matthew Golden and, like I just said, Josh Jacobs on the running game. And then you look at really the Lions here, strengths of the Lions. Just getting. You're looking at strengths for the Lions. You're looking at the likes of Sam Laporta. Again, I know he's on the Ben Johnson for the last couple of years, but again, he's still going to be one of those weapons if you're looking at as a Packers fan. Going, that's one of the threats that we got to look at here. The Lions running game, especially with Sam Laporta. How is Isaiah Testle going to be in his debut? Aiden Hutchinson is coming back from injury. Also on that defensive line, especially with the Packers, I'll just go back to the Packers. They've got Devontae Wyatt, they got Colby Wooden. Again, so they really have beat up the defense, but again, there is a question to get at with this Packers team is the nickelback position is kind of gettable because again, there's been reports that Ernest Rickshaw is on injury reserve, and so that is kind of one question. But then especially for us, like on that nickel tackle position, he's on injury reserve, and then we're gonna put in Amrik Robertson in that position. But in my opinion, looking at Terron Arnold, who again is going to come back as that corner with Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, and a healthy, knock on a bit of wood here, Kirby Joseph, and knock on wood, because again he was our best defensive player and he was out in October, man. So to have him back is great. Like the whole thing with the Packers, again, Kenny Clark is gone. He was the best run defense player last year, but again, Michael Parsons coming now, so I think that's a huge upgrade on Kenny Clark anyway. Weapons, especially, like I just said, Sam Laporta is one for the Lions to look out for. St. Brown. You got Jameis Williamson as well. So again, a lot of weapons for the Packers to really look at, and can they contain them. For the score predictions for today's game, I'm gonna go for the Lions 28, Packers 24. I don't think it's gonna be. Depends on what Lions turn up, offensive, especially defensively, and what Jared Goff turns up. So again, if it's the same Lions that turned up against the Commanders, you're looking at like a 17-32 game, because we were really bad. And we couldn't control that. We couldn't control the Commanders' offense. If we get our defense together and Calvin Shipley's he can put all the shit together, I'm going to say it's going to be like a 28-24 game. I don't think it's going to be too much of a I think it's going to be a close game. So I'm going to say 28-24. So 20 to the Lions, 24 to the Packers. Leave your guys' thoughts in the comments of what you think is going to be the prediction for this game. Who's going to be the standouts for the game? Yeah, leave your thoughts. I'll be back for a post game reaction like I did last season. Hopefully at the end of the game I get a chance, but maybe it'll be Monday. But yeah, leave your guys' thoughts in the predictions on that line. So come on, Lions, come on.